Hello and good afternoon. On behalf of HP, thank you for joining this webinar, The Modern Endpoint Management with HP Services. I'm pleased to introduce our executive host today, Mike Cummins, who is the Senior Director of Personal System Services and Solution Sales. So let's get started. Mike, the time is now yours.
Thank you so much, Abby. Good morning or good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of everyone at HP, I'd like to thank you for joining our virtual webinar. It's some unusual times we find ourselves in still, having to deliver all this in a virtual format. And if you've come to these before, hopefully you're finding them as beneficial to you. And please, at any time, feel free to reach out to your HP account manager, your HP services sales resources. They can absolutely bring this content to your organization in a very dedicated and focused way. Like most of you, this has become really our new norm, right? Working virtually, doing these types of video engagements. And we've really had to work a lot harder to try and get a better employee experience and continue to drive highly productive workforces. So today, I'm really pleased to announce that our subject matter expert is eager to talk to you about HP services that can help solve complicated technology trends and security pressures for you and your end user experience. Our discussion today is going to be led by Catherine Cordingley. Catherine's a business development manager, really specifically focused on our manageability services here at HP. And having worked extensively with Catherine in the past, I think that you're going to find it a wealth of information, very relevant to trying to make that user experience in a remote workforce, very much something that you're going to be focused on and interested in hearing more about. So Catherine, I will hand the floor over to you to get us started.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's great to be here and talking with our customers. I miss seeing them face to face, but this is great. So I'm Catherine Cordingley, as Mike said, specialist on manageability services. And today we're going to cover really what this modern endpoint management looks like, especially as so many of our customers are journeying towards getting to this destination of being able to use Autopilot. I think what you're going to find is that HP recognizes what this looks like, and you're going to see that today. We're going to define modern management. We're going to then redefine what that 2020 life cycle looks like and look at what 21 and beyond looks like. It's changing beneath our feet. HP has some really nice insights over the past 6 months, real-time innovations as a result of this pandemic and what we in services are doing. Talk to you a little bit about the strategy that we employ and that our customers employ with us as they journey towards getting to a place where they've got a wonderful end user experience and getting a new HP PC. So that will encompass the journey and that destination to getting to Autopilot. And then, of course, really important is what's on your mind. And we really want you to be thinking throughout what you need to hear about so that as you're going on your particular journey, that HP can meet you where you are. Okay, so let's start with our first poll question. I'd like to just get a sense of where you are. Based on your management of PCs, do you expect to support more remote workers even as office sites begin to open up? I'm going to give you a little time to answer for that. We're seeing that everything is changing. The percentage, 50% of workers are looking to stay in offices. Looking to stay in remote locations and never go back to an office, right? That is a huge business continuity challenge that you on the IT side are facing. Let's see. Yes, right? I mean, kind of a gimme as a question, but there are very few organizations that are fully mobile organizations, and banks and hospitals, and you had to make significant changes to the way that you're doing business. So let's define that. Modern management. Two main goals we're trying to achieve with modern management. The first is a dramatically different and improved end user experience with a new device. What I mean by that is think about the last time you got a new phone. That's the experience that we need to replicate with a PC, where it is all cloud, it's very user-friendly, easy, and pleasurable. Instead of getting a new PC where it may take a day or two to get it set up, that means I'm not working, right? So the productivity lost. That's the first part. The second part of modern management, as it relates to endpoint management, right? Modern management is a bit of a bigger topic, but in our wheelhouse that we're talking about here, endpoint management, that second point is that we need to get this process to a point where IT can deliver it reliably in a repeatable, streamlined fashion. Because we understand you're dealing with a legacy infrastructure, legacy processes with modern expectations. So how do you bridge that gap? So besides the challenges of IT overall, device proliferation, security complexities, I mean, that just on a daily basis, security concerns just proliferate because we've got the mobile devices and you're all remote. So all of that's happening, and you've got this push to get to modern management and adopt the cloud, right? Like you didn't have enough going on, and then add the remote to it. So what we'd like to talk about today are places where HP has services and strategies that we're employing and having discussions today with our customers so that we can give you tactical steps that you can take as soon as we get off this call to be able to take some stuff towards modern management. Okay, so let's redefine what this life cycle looks like. You're looking at what the traditional office life cycle entailed, but we've had to add a couple of players in. We've had to add the factory and the home office as the remote location that we absolutely have to dovetail into this new life cycle. So let's talk about the fact that HP's got what we call life cycle services, that we have about 80 of them that speak to the different steps that we're looking at here in your life cycle to be able to support what you don't want to do, what you need help doing, what your partner may not have the skills or desire to do for you. HP services, it's wonderful that we have a variety of services. It can be a little overwhelming. And so what I urge you to do is think about places that you could use the help to plug us in, very a la carte, as well as if you also are in the market of, I don't want to support PCs anymore, we got you there too. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's an a la carte undertaking. First and foremost, we look to help customers design through some workshops that we offer. You'd be very surprised at how many customers still are looking for guidance on best practices on moving forward in this journey. There's a lot of moving parts. It's more complicated than I think most IT thought upon, kind of embarking on modern management, and we're finding it's more complicated. We're prepared to help you with that with some wonderful workshops. Next, the configure step has changed, and frankly, this is a place today that you can jump in and make some changes. Rather than doing a static image out of the factory, we have some fantastic provisioning services that I'm going to get into in a couple of slides that we innovated earlier this year to meet our customers' needs of being out at the homes and really needing more out of factory so that devices could get to end users in almost usable state, pretty much almost the last mile. And we've got a wonderful illustration that I'll show you shortly that I think it'll really come together for you. Another place that has really changed in the life cycle, right? We're talking about how this life cycle is transforming a bit, is that we've got to be able to support the home. And based on the survey question up front, 80+% of you are going to have to keep this up. So what does that look like? We have to be able to deliver to you there. We have to break fix out to the home. We got you. We've been pivoting HP services to quickly meet these needs, knowing you need them, okay? Next is optimization. And this is where we've got, when we talk about a phased approach of getting to modern management, this is really a more mature phase where we look to take what you're doing and kick it up a notch, to really use industry-leading technology of AI and machine learning through our analytics platform and really offering this. It's a very unique and exciting solution that allows you visibility into your endpoints on both their hardware and their software, their health and performance. And we use those analytics to help drive improvements in the environment, right? So that's our Tech Pulse platform. I'm going to get into that too a little bit more. Just want you to know where it fits into the whole story. Maintain services. Traditionally, you would be familiar with those as your warranty supports, care packs, next business day on-site service. But we are also innovating there, and we're looking to, again, as we talk about what modern management is, you have to look to embrace automation. And we are actively doing work in Maintain services to start to connect pieces of these solutions to give you the automation that you're looking for. So you're going to see some new announcements out of HP in that space in January that I'll be excited to revisit then. Again, with these needs of the new world, we have to kind of pivot how we're doing things. I talked about the changes of automation and Maintain, recycle and refresh, same thing. PCs at your desk, how are you refreshing when traditionally you might have done that in an office environment, bulk, where you pile them up and you had a process? Well, that process is broken because desktop support may or may not exist, right? So this is what you're dealing with. So I want you to know, first and foremost, HP's lifecycle services fit here. Got a couple other categories of services that we'll dial into. But what I want you to know is we're ready to meet you where you are and that we have a lot of expertise in this space, okay? So let's double click a little further on exactly where HP can fit into this journey for you. First of all, you're being asked to go from a traditional environment and launch, basically, as far as I'm concerned, into modern management. You've got, as we talked about, a very heavy plate of things to deal with in IT, and you're being asked to do this adoption of cloud, which is, it's not a single task, it's several tasks that are related to standing up your cloud environment. And while you do that, HP can work with you, okay? So the first step, what we're finding is that customers are asking for this to be in a phased approach. Many times I get to the end of this presentation and customers are like, this is great, but where do we start? So we start at planning, okay? Again, no shame in needing planning. You would be probably shocked to know how many household names I've spoken to in the last 6 months that want a design and integrate workshop so that we can put a blueprint together for technical on how to move forward, considering their very unique situation. We're ready for that. I probably have the most people talking to me about the automate phase. A lot of customers are ready, but then they're like, okay, how can I take these technologies and take an actual tactical step towards this modern management while I build out all of my Microsoft Azure and Intune and Office 365, et cetera, to get to that destination we've talked about? We can help. That's a place, again, the most popular conversations I'm having are in this space, and it's specifically around, and we talked about it on the lifecycle slide, provisioning, okay? And changing the way you go from building a static image to working with HP and letting us build a package for you. That package can be used by your partner, can be used by you, but ultimately the best way to do it is have us use it at factory and layer it on in the build at factory. And I'm going to show you kind of the build out approach coming up in a slide or two so you can really visualize it. The last phase that our customers are urged to consider is then going proactive, getting ahead in their environment. We talked about the Tech Pulse platform, and Tech Pulse underpins many of my services, and that platform is what allows us to give those proactive insights and give that to you for you to manage on your own and look at for yourself. Or again, if you want to get out of the business and really want to hand over PC management and get into your specialty business, maybe hospitals really need to focus right now and want to hand this over, we're here for you. So it's really getting you to a point of understanding where you are and which kind of service might make sense for you. Okay. So I'm going to even click one more down. So I've talked to you about the fact that we've got plan, automate, and getting proactive. Okay. Really, the most popular conversations I'm having, everybody, is in that automate space around the imaging that I talked to you about. And customers really are interested in, tell me what my options are. So even in our provisioning services here, we break it down into steps. We will plan with you if you're not ready, right? The design and discover is listed here as an option. Also in that planning phase is creating that package with you. We'll dig into that in a minute, but we work side by side with you to build a modular package that can be put on at factory that will absolutely change the game for you as IT, I assure you. Secondarily, in the center column, this is really important to point out, is like the how we do this. The second piece is upon working on the configuration for deployment. One of the services that we offer, super popular right along with the provisioning, is OS version control, or lock, basically. So think about the fact that the Microsoft operating system changes as, with the wind, changes, with technology, and you may not want that version. You may have some engineers that need to be at 1909, etc. We can lock that in based on a package or a persona and not worry about breaking things in your environment, because HP as OEM will always embrace the latest from Microsoft, which is goodness, but not when it breaks something. So we can meet both needs. We want a provisioning package that can do both. Again, you're starting to gain this modularity, that it's not this one big static image that doesn't work in the agile environment that we're trying to create here. And then finally, again, a stepped approach. We're not going to leave you behind. We can update this package, but again, you're not going to need to update it, but probably once a year when Microsoft changes the OS, if you have some dramatic change in your apps or your settings. But the beauty of that is setting that up front, okay? This is the actual steps that we take. The first, and I want you to think building blocks or even a parfait, right? Layers. The first layer we do is the corporate image. So all of that you see here on the left is traditionally, I think all of you actually blow that away and re-image and put your own image on there, traditionally in a legacy environment. The recommendation, the recommendation is that you start with the HP corporate image, a vanilla image. And that just has all of that bloatware that has been called. It's not included. And this is the perfect place to start the building out of this new way of doing things. So you start with the corporate image. It's just a building block when you're building in PC with us. Then the next bit is you layer on that provision package. You work with us, we build the package, and we are able to build that layer on at factory. We've locked the OS because that's another service at factory. So that's another one of those layers. And then you've got that provisioning package built on, okay? That is the way that we are able to get you prepared for devices that are going to be cloud ready, autopilot ready, okay? So let's pause here. As we talk about, that's the how we can take some tactical steps today to meet the modern management ask that you're being asked to execute upon. As we look to dovetail the other services and kind of edge you towards that proactive space, I want to ask you, as you're, to understand the device health and performance today, are you challenged with seeing what's on the out in the field? Did you have tools already that were doing that for you? I ask because what we're finding is once everybody's out remote and off network, IT is much more challenged than they anticipated. So let's go to see our question again. I like to see that we've got 36% aren't challenged by that. So they've got some sort of tool set, because what we're hearing is the ability to know what's happening on the endpoint has become crucial. And I say that very much because of when we're here at home, the bandwidth and everything that's happening here is going to impact my ability to be able to work, right? So HP wants to make sure that as we are preparing you towards modern management, that we have an offering to have you start thinking about and testing, and that would be the TechPulse Analytics platform. I want you to think about where this would be of value in your organization for that 63% of you that are challenged to see those endpoints. This is where TechPulse, underpinning all of our services, really will come in handy. These are the 3 types of services HP offers. I shared with you the life cycle at the beginning, 80 different services that underpin all of the that graphic of the office. Manageability services. This is really what we're honing in on now, is the TechPulse and that ability to be able to remotely manage all of your endpoints, no matter what kind of endpoints they are. All Windows, even non-HP. Yes, you heard me correctly. Non-HP can be managed by TechPulse. We know you've got mixed environments. Do we like it? We'd love to see you have more HP, but we know that you need to manage it all and from one pane of glass. And then, of course, our security services are all underpinned by the TechPulse platform. Again, remember when we were looking at the office, this is a tool to optimize. And let's look a little bit deeper into what it is. AWS, Amazon is our back end. Our data lake has 45 million devices, billions of data points that we are then able to use using machine learning and artificial intelligence. That's where the analytics power comes through. And then we're able to then show that on our portal. That portal can be looked at by you, our customer, can be looked at by your partner, that you can have them as a partner on record so that they can peek at it and manage for you. Back to the original. You don't want any part of it? HP will do it for you. And you'll see device as a service is really our wrapper. As I've talked about, if you want us to kind of take over the environment and manage the service, we got you. Okay, so the last part of what TechPulse can do, and this, I think this is a really important part of it, it plays very well in a technical playground, if you will. We have an open API structure that allows all of the amazing data that we get to flow into other systems. Specifically, we've built an integration for ServiceNow, for IT service management, but maybe you wanted to go into Power BI or a security, Microsoft security dashboard. It's beautiful, it's built in, it's part of the cost of doing, it's part of the tool. So we really are finding customers embracing TechPulse as a way to get that visibility, as a way, and again, on this journey, they're doing a lot of this concurrently, right? Maybe talking about building that package, starting to test out TechPulse so that we're edging towards that journey that we've talked about. Okay, now the destination, it's Autopilot. And the promise of Autopilot is once you've got that full cloud built out, all that work, all that time, it's a lot. Once you get that done, you're gonna be able to take a PC from us, ship it straight to your end user. End user gets PC, logs on, and everything comes down over the wire. Everything, meaning their whole image, if you will, all settings and everything. Now that is wonderful, except the wireless, the internet, the connection point that when Autopilot really kind of first came to be, we were all in offices on wonderful super highways, if you will, of networks. Well, most of us, right? Now we're all out at the home offices. So, okay, you're trying to bring 30 gigs of an image down on my new PC here at my home office with 5 people. The end user experience team we're finding has been challenging. So remember we talked about those provisioning services that we came up with earlier this year to innovate, to help. We work very closely with Microsoft, and they love what we've done. So let's look at a illustration here that I think will tie together all that I was talking about as some steps that you can take and where it fits into Autopilot. Okay, so let's meet our characters. First is the new HP PC. You've got an IT administrator. I don't care where she's sitting, and your employee. I don't care where he's sitting. Everybody is remote. Okay. You're building this cloud. I understand it takes time. Keep doing it. But while you're doing that, let's work together, okay? From the HP factory, this PPKG that you see, that's just shorthand for provisioning package. This provisioning package, we can work with you and build it at factory. Put that corporate OS on, lock that OS at the version you need, asset tag it, put it all in one box so it goes to an end user, whatever you need it to look like. We will also take those devices and register them in your Autopilot cloud. Okay, it's really your Azure AD tenant, to be specific. And we're doing that today. First of all, you don't have to be doing PPKG. We don't have to load the package on at factory with us if you don't want to. It's not, registering with Autopilot is not exclusive of that. I'm giving you steps to do this, but you can just register with Autopilot if that's all you want to do with us now. But the good thing is you set us up as your OEM, and we have an API relationship and can go ahead and every time you buy new PCs from us, we're going to go ahead and feed that information up into your cloud so that, again, as you build out that cloud, we're ready with you. Meanwhile, you're going to be taking your internal devices and harvesting those IDs from existing and then configuring the profiles up in Azure so that everything works together when the time comes. And then you have the ability to ship the device straight to the end user, and they self-deploy. Again, all very much Autopilot, but here's where it all changes. The payload. 80% of that payload came down at factory, and that last mile that we call it, that 20%, that's coming down at the desktop. That's one option, right? If we're going straight from factory to desktop, that is the improved employee experience. I'm not taking 30 gig down at my desk. It's only 20%. Two comments there. That last mile could be done somewhere else. It was done desk side or by the desk side support team. But if that doesn't exist and isn't going to, and you don't have a place to do that last mile, business partners, they could take it in and they could do that last mile to get it, Catherine Cordingly ready to work if you don't want it to be done at the desk. The second thing I want to, and I'm excited about, is in January, I'm going to be announcing a service that's going to close that last gap for you. And at factory, HP will be able to close that gap. But we're not there yet. I want you to understand we continue to innovate to meet your needs. Okay. After hearing about HP's capabilities, would you be interested in partnering with HP to assist you on your journey? I'll give you a minute. A few seconds. Oh, I'm a little too fast. Thank you, folks, for holding on here. I'm going to go ahead and advance and see if we have any... Yeah. That's excellent. So maybe in 2021, team, what we're finding is customers, some of these are like 2-year projects. So I get it. We get it. And we are ready to talk to you about planning and being ready for you. So for those of you that it's a 2021, I hope this planted a nice seed for you. For those of you, over half of you that would like to hear more about this, we absolutely welcome the conversation. Again, no shame in needing planning. We got the best practices. We're doing this every day with customers just like you and can share with you. And oh, by the way, those workshops that used to be on site, we do them virtually. And we'll break them up into sessions. We break them up so that they work for you. So no, don't worry about, we'll meet you where you are and we'll fit your needs as far as that's concerned. And then if you're ready to act, I urge you to call one of our sellers, whether it's your favorite services specialist or your account manager. They're all dialed into all of this, and we welcome a further conversation. So with that, I would like to bring Mike Cummins back and welcome him for some Q&A and get what's on your mind. So Mike, come on back.
Thank you, Catherine. That was awesome information. And having been a virtual employee since 1997, that last mile is always the most painful part. So it's outstanding that we're finally closing that gap. So folks, Now is the time for some Q&As. If you haven't taken a chance, please do so now. And to your questions, we do have a number that were pre-submitted that we'll try and work through here. I also want to let you know that we really sincerely value your feedback. There's going to be a short survey that takes place after this. And for those of you that are in the U.S., the first 10 are going to get a nice little care package sent out to you, little goodie box for your work from home needs on behalf of HP as a way of saying thank you. So without further ado, let me see what we have queued up. So I believe we did address this for those of you that are worrying. This is being recorded, and a replay link will be made available to you shortly upon the completion of this survey or this webinar, probably tomorrow. Catherine, can I buy proactive management and provisioning services through my reseller?
Let's take the first part. Proactive management powered by TechPulse. Absolutely. Our partner channel is so important to us, and they have the ability to make that a transactional a transaction for you. You can also, as we talked about, work with HP and have a contract to do the whole nut. So we always want to offer any route to market for you. Provisioning services, I want to peel that back, because one of my first customers that I worked with, they had a channel partner that was delivering the hardware on the regular, but they wanted to work with us to build out that provisioning package so that we built it into the bill of materials coming from factory, and then that PC shipped out no problem right through their partner. So it was kind of a combo approach there. So the actual creation of package building, Mike, is just HP. We do that part, but then we provide the install SKU, if you will, and you can use that through, you can use that in the build of materials and then get that through the channel. So we welcome working with our channel.
All right. Another one, what services are HP having the most discussions with customers right now, and why do we think that is?
So I can tell you that the two most popular topics that drive to two particular service are, and we joked about this during the pandemic, it seems like everybody got a puppy, got either a lake house or a boat, and they're trying to figure out modern management, right? So in that effort to figure out modern management, the first is the Design and Discover workshop. That's probably the second most popular thing. The most popular is provisioning services. I get, what options, Catherine, do we have for imaging PCs now that everybody's remote? And that is the answer. As a matter of fact, the quote from the first customer that we went beginning to end by building his provisioning package, he did the test out. He said, "This solves my business continuity problem. And it is 3 easy steps once the PC is built out, one of which is turning the PC on." And it was music to our ears to hear this IT professional be so excited about something that we were offering him. So yeah, we want to do that for more of you and give you less heartburn and time to work on your core business.
All right, let's see here. How do your services reach remote devices and update to latest software?
So, okay, so let's look at that. The way we reach our remote devices is through the solution that we spoke about, proactive management, powered by the TechPulse platform. TechPulse has an agent that is able to go out onto devices. We can push it through a CCM via an MSI variety. You don't have to actually touch the PC. We get that agent out on the PC, and that agent gathers data. Think of it like if you go for an MRI and it checks everything in the system and then reports out what you've got, how sick you are, right? And the different places you've got to go. Basically, TechPulse gathers that information and provides that through a portal over to our customers if you're in a self-serve engagement with us. But then to answer the second part of the question, we have the ability to fully manage that for you. So if you're in our fully managed offering with TechPulse, there's the mobile device management function built into our fully managed service. And that's where we're able to do software updates and really work with deployment of software and the like, and that's in a more managed environment. So the answer is TechPulse is the tool that we do, we are able to gain the visibility, and then through our managed service, we use that tool plus an MDM, whether it's your Intune licensing, or you work with what our tool, which is Workspace ONE behind the scenes, that we are able to meet all of the devices in your environment. Again, I told you, not just HP. This is all Windows devices. What's next, Mike?
They are coming in fast and furious here, so I'm trying to keep up with them all.
Good.
Okay, a question came in that actually I'll probably take. Where can we get more information on pricing of different solutions? As examples, around Autopilot from an initial step all the way up through White Glove. Reach out to your HP account manager. If you go through a partner and you're not sure who your HP account manager is, pull your partner in. They will know who your HP account manager is. Or if you know your HP services sales resource, we have dedicated people that deal just with this aspect of our portfolio that they can also engage and very quickly get you what you need.
Right, and put a plan, you don't need a formal plan either, right? I talked to you about workshopping. You can work directly with services and say, look, we'd like to step through this, give us some, pricing and kind of some steps that we can take. It doesn't have to be formal. We do that all the time where we, you say these are the things we want to tackle, and then we go ahead and kind of give you steps and pricing, and we work together to do that. So you've got a lot of flexibility in the folks over here.
So I'm gonna group a couple of questions that have a little bit of a similar theme together. We've got, say we've created the provisioning within the factory. Some questions are coming in around how often can it be updated, and what's the difficulty, what's the process to go through that updating?
That's a great question. And what the good thing is, you don't really need to update it by the way that it is designed. The modular way that it is designed means that you don't have to touch it. What we find is, first of all, built into the Create service, into the price of that is one time a year, you have an update that's included. Now, if you have something come across, a new application, something, I'm hearing some echo. I don't know if that's for everybody. After you have, Mike, can you hear me okay?
I can. There has been an echo, but it seems to have gone away, maybe?
With your voice. Oh, no, it is gone. Okay, I apologize.
We're good.
Okay, so back to how many times, the change of a package. So traditionally, you're not going to need to change it. We absolutely have a process, right? So built into the creation price, one time a year, you have the ability to update it. And the idea is that it's probably going to be when Windows changes, that one time a year, because you're going to build it with the knowledge and the modularity of the way we build it, that you don't have to change it. For instance, when a new HP device comes out, all the drivers are already built in there, and through the automation of the package, it applies the proper drivers. You don't have to go rebuild the image each time a new device comes out. You don't have to touch the package every time a new HP device comes out, right? Like, that's music to your ears. So when you do need to touch it, we have an update. It's a SKU, and it's a charge to update that package. But again, we don't anticipate you needing to do that, but probably once a year based on the way that we build it. That goes into the beauty of why it helps you in IT make your life easier. You don't have to touch it as much. It's automated even when there's changes to your hardware, and it allows you to send the PC right to the end user. Again, you don't have to touch that. Dialing back into what we're trying to achieve with modern management.
All right, thank you for that. Global availability of the solutions that we've talked about on today's webinar.
You know, I put that in my notes as I was reviewing this, and I apologize for not bringing up global. One of the things that HP, when we win, I've talked to enough customers and asked about, you know, why we win. Our global reach is one of the key reasons that we're able to earn customers' business. And the short answer is yes. There's nothing I've talked about today that is not globally available to you. So we have our global capability, and we have this incredible channel of partners that really, it makes us pretty unique in our ability to meet your needs. And then add that with our services and the product, and well, we think it's a win.
Okay. At the beginning of the process, a device is being built in the factory, and we need to get information from HP to Microsoft. The question is, does HP charge a customer to do that?
No. And when you say get information, I'm not sure if this question clarifies,
registering the device into the Microsoft.
No, I know. Yeah. So, let's look at it. So when we're on this slide, let me push this one to you guys. No, this step right here, uploading the device IDs. No, there's no charge for that. I was actually doing this on Friday of last week on a call where I have a person on my side, we work with your side to get your Azure tenant information. You set HP up as the OEM on record, and then we have an API relationship between us and Microsoft, and we send those right into your Azure tenant, and there's no charge for that. And you set it up once, and then when you keep buying from us, we're good to keep going with that. Again, no touch for you. One last thing, right? Let's get back to the Q&A page. Okay, back to you, Mike.
And I think we kind of addressed this, right? How is HP handling on-site things? And, you know, I'll take that. We really aren't. We are in a virtual environment for our entire organization right now, and we plan to be so for some time. But we have found very much effective collaboration in this virtual environment. So that's the way that we're kind of skinning that cat, so to speak.
Wait, I'd like to comment real quick that from a services perspective, though, the idea of what on-site meant, we are pivoting where we can, right? Delivering PCs to the home, delivering a break fix rather than next business on site. I mean, that can go to the home. Trying to start to recycle PCs. Those were traditionally at the office, starting to pivot. So from that aspect, where we can bring something to the home, we're trying and pivoting on that where it makes sense. So just know that we're innovating real time right along with you guys, right?
Yeah, we're making sure to take care of installed based equipment, but we're not doing things like workshops that can really, or customer meetings, if you will, even face-to-face for things that can be done in a virtual world. So yeah, good point.
Correct.
Very good point. Let's see here. Bear with me. Okay, for someone who's already down the route of Autopilot and has had some success, who's really looking to take this to the next level and resolving some hurdles, the question is that something that HP can help with, or will we just source it out to a third party?
Frankly, I would have to understand what the hurdles are. If the hurdles, like what we've heard, are, gosh, we've got Autopilot set up and it's good, but when the device gets to the end user, the payload's so huge that the experience is awful for the end user, then that goes back to what we were talking about. I say build the provisioning packages. That Microsoft loved what we did with the provisioning packages. It dovetailed right into their whole idea of white glove, which was, they know this was a problem. They knew they had to break it. And we just created a service to underpin their idea and their concept of white glove, which was breaking it in half. So I just would need, I think what I would suggest for that person who asked that question is get with us. Let us understand what those challenges are with Autopilot, because frankly, if it's something like what I just described, putting a provision package in immediately will impact that end user experience, and the payload will be a better, it'll be broken. That'll be better. It depends what those are. I know that's kind of a medium answer, but we could listen and see. Because we have a whole professional services organization behind me as well. We've got the ability to dive in on some real specific items on that. So ask us. I would be surprised if we don't have some expertise. That's what I would say. Ask us.
I think we have time for just a couple more. So this one came in a few times, so I'll ask it.
Okay.
Does the provisioning package include applications like Office?
It includes whatever applications you want put in it. You build it with us. We work side by side. Your engineering folks and the fellow who writes, well, the particular fellow I work with on his team, and we build that out with you. It includes settings, applications. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the slide and we can visualize it real quick so that we don't have to just listen to me. Let's look at the slide real quick, and you can see here, right? Core applications right here, right? So think about that. You put on an application, you put on something, and you're trying to bring that whole thing down at the desktop, right? So much better to bring those big, huge applications down at factory. But this is really how it breaks out, is that we'll build different packages and they breaks out into these type of modules. It's a little bit of a better visual so you can see it. What? Next question.
There's one question. As people are migrating over to this new way with their end users, do we have capabilities to drop things in the box like instruction sheets for them? A little bit out of your domain, so if I stump you, I can take it.
Well, I know we kit because I was an account manager for 5 years here at HP, and I did that. So I know I can drop in a box almost everything. Something unique like a set of instructions, Mike, I'm handing that one to you. Do we do that?
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah, we actually can. Yeah, so that's a capability. Please, if you want to go down that path, reach out to your HP account manager, and they will engage our factory services specialists who can walk you through what the options are there.
I like
it. Absolutely. One for TechPulse, maybe to add some clarification. Can TechPulse integrate into a Microsoft CM environment?
Configuration manager, I'm assuming what CM means.
That's what I would assume as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, I'm just putting the screen back up so that we're reminded what TechPulse is, where it fits in here. Absolutely. So configuration manager like SCCM, meaning you haven't gone fully over to the cloud. And team, I got to tell you, a lot of customers have 1 foot in SCCM or configuration manager and 1 foot in Intune. And they're going to be 2-footed like that for a couple years. We can help you on that too. Side note, I want you to call us if you need help and you want to actually accelerate getting that to happen faster. But absolutely, we will provide an MSI so that you can push out the TechPulse agent through Config Manager. We provide information. Any of the APIs could tie right in, and you can start flowing information up through there. So yeah, because of the open API structure, and again, we also built a one-click installer too. So we try to do what you need to be able to put this out in the environment, considering the fact that you know, everybody's not on Intune, and that we still have, you know, kind of half the environment on SCCM. So long answer, longer. Yeah, we absolutely work quite well with Configuration Manager. And I just want to give you a couple examples of where we plug in.
Okay. I'm going through, and I think we've caught most of them that we can actually answer on the call with the time allotted here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip us over to kind of a closeout. And Catherine, thank you so much for your information, for your knowledge, and for the litany of questions that you had. So just wanted to reiterate with everybody, this will be available as a replay for you, and the slide deck would be accessible through that replay. We would hope to get that out within the next day or so to you all. So for everybody who's still with us here, thank you again. We really do appreciate your time. We appreciate your business. If you currently are not an HP customer, we absolutely look forward to earning your business. Hopefully this has given you a little bit of insight into what we're able to do within the factory to make, again, that last mile, as we have substantially more remote workers, that last mile of effort, drive a much higher customer experience and less nightmares and headaches for IT staff. Please hold on the line here for a minute and make sure to answer our survey. Again, the first 10 US-based companies, we got a little giveaway for you. And with that, Abby, I will hand it back over to you. Everybody, please take care, stay safe. Happy holiday season.
Thank you. We invite you to participate in the short survey by clicking on the icon located at the bottom of the screen, or it should be popped up on your screen. Simply click on it and the survey will pop up if you choose to click on the bottom of the screen. When the webinar closes, the survey will automatically launch again. This now concludes this webinar. Thank you for joining and happy holidays.